If someone you know is doing something wrong or not following Sikhi properly, when do you have the right to intervene and try to correct them?
You never have the right to tell someone else where it's at. You never have the right to tell someone else. That is only in one special relationship, which is spiritual teacher to student. And that's a very unique relationship. But with your peers, with your brothers, with your sisters, you don't have that privilege to tell someone else where it's at. What you can do is you can share your own experience. You can share your love for that person. You can share how you see that person through your eyes, how you see their soul. Because when you really love someone as a brother or a sister, what you love in them is their soul. What you love in them is their innocence. You can speak to that, but never speak in judgment. Because as soon as you try to tell someone where it's at, or you speak in judgment of someone, you separate yourself from them. Then you become someone else talking to them. When you connect to their soul, when you nurture their soul, when you honor who they are in their own majesty, in their own power as a Singh or a Kaur, when you speak to that, all you're doing is just helping them to remember within themselves who they are in their own self. But as soon as you come and say, man, you shouldn't do that, or that's not right, all you do is create a polarity because you separate yourself from the other person. So, what I try to do is see the world through the other person's eyes. What pain is this person experiencing? What is this person looking for? What are they having as their experience in this moment? And you have to connect to them in that moment, in that experience that they are having, and be present with them and love them in that moment. And you can live as an example. You can live as who you are, because if you know who you are, then you serve as an example to everyone. So beware of the trap of telling people where it's at, because they already know where it's at. They may deny it, but they...
I think just to clarify what I was feeling was sometimes some of my friends, they've been raised to Sikh and then one day they just decide to cut their hair and stop living the lifestyle. So internally, at first I feel like, okay, they're a friend, I should be open and accepting for who they are and their choices they make. And then on the other hand, I feel like in a way they're kind of throwing away to be an average Joe. And I feel like maybe, they need some encouragement, or they've kind of lost touch, because I know in my experience when I was a teenager and going through that struggle myself, sometimes it does require a kick in the butt by somebody or something to kind of wake you up and remind you.
I'm not saying don't kick somebody in the butt, but you have to love somebody enough to kick them in the butt. You understand? You can't kick someone in the butt unless you really love them, unless you really honor them as a brother or a sister, unless you really care for them, right? Otherwise, why would you bother kicking somebody? Because you're angry? When you kick someone, you kick with love, right? You don't kick because you know where it's at and they don't know where it's at. You kick because, hey man, I love you, That's done as a wake-up. But the fact of life is this. You can't hear something just because someone else speaks it. You have to be ready to hear it. Because hearing requires two parts, ears and mouth. Somebody has to say it and somebody has to hear it. So you can talk and somebody else won't hear. There's no connection. The trick is that you have to say the right thing at the right time. Because if your words are not your words, but they come from that infinite place within you, if they come from the Guru, then they ring that bell and they create a resonance in the other person. So they may act on it or they may not act on it, but the power of that word is already embedded in their consciousness, and it's a seed. Because someone doesn't decide to become a Sikh or not to become a Sikh. Someone doesn't decide, okay, I was raised as a Sikh, but I don't want to be a Sikh anymore. Because it's not up to you. You don't get to choose. Guru chooses his Sikh. Sikh doesn't choose to be a Sikh. It's a relationship. Guru chooses his Sikh. So either someone belong to the Guru or doesn't belong to the Guru. Nothing you say can make it different. You can kick somebody in the butt 20 times and shut the door in their face, and if they belong to the Guru, they'll come back through the Guru's gate, regardless of what you do. They may have to go through this lifetime and learn a heavy lesson and come back again to go through Guru's gate. But if they belong to the Guru, they'll come home. What's that saying? You know, if you love something, let it go and it'll come back by itself. I don't know what that, you've heard that saying, right? You know, if you love something, let it go. If you love someone, you have to love them unconditionally. You can't say, I only love you if you're a Sikh and not if you're not a Sikh. You don't get to judge who's a Sikh and not a Sikh. That's between Sikh and Guru. All you get to do is say what must be said in that moment. And if you love someone enough to give them a nice kick in the butt, bless you for that. Either they'll respond or they won't. It's not up to you.
You mentioned that it's all about timing. Can you give some advice about, how you can find the right time, how you can know when?
Oh, that's very simple. Drop your agendas. Drop your expectations. Drop your own desires. And drop your own needs. Drop your agendas, your expectations, your desires, and your needs. Because when you're present in the moment and you don't want anything, and you don't have some outcome you're aiming for or something you expect, but you simply be with that person in that moment, then the thing that needs to be said will spontaneously come out of your mouth. Because it's not you who's saying it. That's what Gurmukh means. Gurmukh means that your mukh is not yours. It's Guru's mukh. It doesn't belong to you. So if you're not trying to convince someone, if you're not trying to change someone, if you're not trying to get someone to love you, if you're not trying to obtain something, if you're just there, present in the moment, and you let the Guru's love come through you in that moment, then the thing that needs to be said will be said. And as it comes out of your lips, you can be just as amazed at it at that moment, because it's not like you're clever, so you figured out the perfect timing and you figured out exactly what to say. Forget it. Open yourself, be present, and whatever needs to be said, it'll just come in that moment and it'll be perfect. Right? It's only when you bring yourself to it that you mess it up.